Only you may act out in other ways. And if you're tired, your mind, just like when you drunk, you will make some bad decisions. Like sometimes people don't talk about it, but next to drunken driving is people on the road tired having accidents. They probably should have stayed home and gotten some rest, or pull over and gotten some rest on the side of the road, or decided to do whatever they want to do on another day when their energy level and they had was up. So bad decisions happen when you're tired. So if you put the four together, one, you lonely, frustrated, your family not around, friends not around, you don't have a partner or a wife and nobody to help bounce things off of, and you start in a negative tailspin, then you get angry about all the negative circumstances. But then, worst off, because your EBT didn't come, or your SNAP or your link wasn't filled, which is all the same thing, same set of money coming in those different forms. But what people didn't know is, especially a lot of people that work, about that EBT card, that link card that people get their benefits on every month that didn't come. Now you can't, so a lot of people eat frustrations. They'll eat a little more when they're hungry, or they'll buy something from the store that they like, enjoy. They may not overeat, but they go indulge in something they like. Like I'm gonna go get some cold cuts I don't need when I leave tonight at the deli and spice ham because I like it. So I want to treat myself because I'm doing better with the weight. But I don't need it, but I will treat myself. Well, get a person who lost their benefits and then they can't go treat themselves to something that simple. Some deli meat, or a deli sandwich, and or some popcorn, and or, because some people really are at that stage. They spent up their money expecting it on the first and praying that it didn't get cut off, but it was cut off. And so those are some serious things when we're talking about of community recovering. We're talking about people recovering from substance abuse. We're talking about people recovering from other negative lifestyle choices. We do not need them out there frustrated, angry, because they don't have money for food, lonely because they don't feel right being around people when they don't have anything to offer. Don't invite people over because the refrigerator is bare. These are some basic things rich people just don't have to think about. But struggling poor people have to. Struggling lower middle class people have to think about these things. Women taking care of 2, 3, 4, 5 children. One is enough, but when you get to 2, 3, 4, it even gets a greater burden is on that woman. Or a father, single parent father. They're out there, you all. I know a dozen or more. And then they're trying to help. And then you got grandfathers and grandmothers taking care of second, third generations of kids because of the negative lifestyles different family members have led and are leading and or incarcerated because of their previous lifestyles. The burden falls back on others. And now you have even elderly people considering, how do I get a hold of the money to feed these children? Whether it be grandchildren, grandnieces, grandnephews. Hunger is a serious problem, and I'm glad I happened to come behind the gentleman Ken that runs the local food pantry 3 blocks from where our recovery program physically is located, where our office is located at 4032 West Van Buren. You can call us at 773-213-0802. But Ken is 3 blocks away, and every time someone I know comes to the facility, don't have money, I put together a little kit to get them through that week, and then I point them straight down there to, I think it's 1817 South Polk, to Ken's food pantry at Above and Beyond. Then I have a tenant that goes there regular, Marvin H. And Marvin goes down there, and then Marvin comes back say, Mr. Cook, if you're a senior citizen, like a few of us in here, whether we claiming it or not, if you need something, Mr. Cook, you go down there at 11 and get in line. And we just talked about that out there, so I'm going to shout them out. They can them if you're over 55, I believe, but it definitely over 60. I'm almost certain you can go to a food pantry at 11, and they will let the seniors in first at 11, and the rest of the people go in starting at 11:30 each day. And so it's definitely there, definitely helping. I definitely see 20, 30, hundreds of people in line. Lately, the line look like it does not end. It used to be around 2:30 in the afternoon, 3 o'clock. If you're moving around, the line would be totally clear. Or sometime 1:30. But lately, when you go by there, even till the end of their service time, it's usually people still in line. They're coming, and they keep coming, and they keep coming. Character Cincinnati AME Church on Friday, tomorrow afternoon, 1 to 3, will be serving, and they'll be giving out turkey breasts this year. I guess they're not sending as many turkeys, so they let them know they will be getting turkey breasts to give out. Even though I know a whole turkey could go a long way for a family right now, especially if they didn't get their SNAP money earlier, or any other supplemental money for food earlier in the month. But they're going to be giving out turkey breasts tomorrow, 1 to 3, until all of them are given away at Character Cincinnati, 1448 South Holman. And they're there every Friday, except, I believe, I hope they make allowance, but they may well not, is Good Friday. They generally are not there, and they are not there the Friday after Thanksgiving. Those Fridays, the food pantry usually not open. And I think those are the only 2 Fridays they're usually not open. And so get by there if you need food and you're in the North Lawndale, Garfield area, and you can get somebody to drive you down there, or you jump on the bus, the Kimball Holman bus, or if you're coming, or the Pulaski bus to Roosevelt, or the 16th Street bus, or the Roosevelt Road bus itself. So these different buses, you can get down close to the location, and then you can get you some food. There are various other food pantries, and I was looking at the phone because, hot soup. On Mondays, I Am Able, right at Holman and Roosevelt, they're giving away hot soup until it runs out. On Mondays between 1 and 4, the goal is to give out soup. I just saw that flyer. I'd heard about it early in the week, but the flyer was posted. And I'm trying to pull it back up. Also, these guys doing great work. Pastor John Harrell, who's running for 8th District, a state rep, but he has Black Men United. These guys have given away millions of tons of food, millions of tons of tables, living room furniture, dining room furniture, refrigerators, stoves. They get all kind of appliances from different companies all over the country, and they go all over the city of Chicago giving this away. And then almost every day, every other day, they're somewhere giving away food. Like I said, millions of tons of food all across Chicago. And they're in the process of actually building their new facility for manufacturing and storage right there at Roosevelt and Costner. So they're doing some great work. Today, if you're looking for housing, Grace Manor opened, which is at Ogden and Holman, across street from the 10th District Police Station. This is a project developed with, unfortunately, after the murder of Laquan McDonald. His uncle, Reverend Marvin Hunter, has been able to develop a housing program that they finally have funded years later, unfortunately, to get a lot of what he wanted to do on the radar of the politicians. He had to lose a nephew brutally gunned down on near Archer and Pulaski years ago, but it's something good coming out of it, and it's the direct result of a tragedy that the momentum to help provide some more housing in North Lawndale and to prevent people like his nephew at the time who was homeless best you can, because sometimes because of the mental health, and that's another thing, they're planning to have wraparound services at that location. And we're starting to address more regularly the mental health issues that caused that kid to be untimely killed. But Grace Manor has opened today. The grand opening was today, I believe around 3 o'clock. There's various postings hitting my Facebook feed because I follow Reverend Hunter. I follow Senator Lakeisha Collins, 5th District was there, Monique and others. So, and I'm sure that's going to be a source for various other things, but if you need housing, they're definitely there for you to get housing. Many people have gotten on the waiting list, so they may fill up fast. But there may also be, it's what we call mixed use affordable housing development, or they have various market levels. So even though it's a great location, affordable housing units, Section 8 go faster because of the need and the fact that we got thousands of units of housing hasn't been fixed up and people being put in them over the last few years. And unfortunately, some projects that was being developed, the project slowed because some of the workforce, since ICE been in town, haven't been able to work for various companies. So some of the development and renovations has slowed down. And due to the fact that a lot of our Mexican Americans, Venezuelans, Colombians, Haitians, and others that work in these fields, unfortunately, ICE doesn't matter. They say they coming after illegals, but they will jail anyone that they want to. And they are jailing anyone that they want to. So you have a lot of those people that even though they legitimately here, they don't trust ICE not to grab them if they come looking for somebody, if they come to their work site. And it's all over the news, ICE will grab them up, put them in jail, and who knows when they get out. So rather than go through that trauma and that drama and to maintain what they can with their savings, they are staying home, many of them. So that means work has slowed down in a lot of what we call non-union workshops. Union workshops, they all have to have their papers lined up. Plus, the union has a way of helping their members most of the time because they're a coalition political active that they usually can get things done and save some of their members from certain embarrassments. And the upper echelon of union members have a good relationship with the upper echelons of police, law enforcement, and others. So they can get some grace for their members. But non-union workers have no one to help them. What they call living wage employees, or what they call right-to-work employees. They're doing construction work, renovation work all over the city, but they're not in a union shop. So they don't have the extra safeguards that unions provide. So many of those right-to-work workers who work in construction that may or may not have all their paperwork lined up are not showing up for work. And like I said, the worst part is even when they do have their paperwork and their documents, they don't trust ICE not to lock them up anyway, and then make them prove they're a citizen, prove all their paperwork is legit, prove that, and sometimes they can't prove it just for the sake of doing stuff. Try not to get too negative about it. But it's an atrocity. The rights of American citizens and those legalized citizens is being trampled over in the name of getting those who all came in illegally out of the country. And the reality is, they did not have to trample on everyone's rights to do that. And the other issue we have is they're spending a lot of money looking for the people instead of helping people that need it, whether it be substance abuse, whether it be they cut off these benefits for SNAP. And part of it was to force people out and force people from the cover. If you don't have no food and you don't have these benefits that this money for food allows you, you might come out of hiding to get fed and find yourself less of a burden on your family. I mean, and it's an atrocity to get the few 100,000 or 1 million, 2 million that may be illegally in the country and giving benefits. You would have 42 other million people go hungry to get the 1 or 2 million off. That is a horrible way to think, an inhumane way to think. But we're at that day in the democracy where it's being challenged. Now, I'm going to say this again. I do not totally blame Trump, do not like him, and like a lot of what he stands for. But I talk to people in the streets, and it's a lot of African-American men and women going back to work because there's a hole in the workforce because unfortunately, those illegal immigrants are not out there working like they used to, so jobs are available. Now, it's sad how things being done. It's also legal immigrants are not in the workforce right now because they're scared too, or they're scared for family and friends. Or they also take a family member that may not have all their papers to work with them on a similar job. So rather than take a chance, neither worker is going. But the reality is that has helped some people get back to work. But it also has hurt, and food prices are up because those guys in California, Texas, Mississippi that do a lot of labor on the farms and a lot of labor in the vineyards and pick the oranges, apples, and other things, help cultivate the landscape, they're not working, and there's no one to replace them. Let's understand this, and I was just talking to somebody a couple days ago. I don't care how much somebody need a job. If they used to sitting at a register, used to sitting behind a desk, you can't get them to take a same job working on the farm, same job working in the fields, and you just can't get it. A handful could make it all day on the tractor, helping irrigate and different things. But when it comes to the labor of picking food all day, every day, a person has been, for the last 10 years, whatever, 5 years, doing office work cannot handle that kind of work. So they can't transition there. There's a gap in the farming industry that we all paying for by various foods prices being up. And then the other issue you have with SNAP that no one wants to talk about, it's a lot of businesses within this, I'm sure 30 days are feeling the effects. And that more than anything is probably why the Republicans have decided to open the government back up and restore these benefits, even though the administration went to court to prolong it by doing what they call an appeal. When you appeal a decision, you do not usually have to act on that decision until the appeal is decided, whether for what your argument or against your argument. And fortunately, with the government opening up, understanding is they have signed an agreement to restore those benefits. However, various states, it's different time frames, and when the federal government gonna release the money to the states to cover everyone. So some people may be restored in the next week or two from their state that has money, and then others who states may not release it till the Fed sent the money, which may take up to 2 weeks, 3 weeks. And then afterwards they'll get their money, or different people in different programs in their state that receive these SNAP benefits under various guidelines. And the reality is many of the guidelines have changed already, and they have to be followed. So check for new guidelines. As I mentioned last week, State Rep Yolanda Morris has put the guidelines up on her Facebook page. I believe by now you can find them, Lakeisha Collins. You can go to the Department of Human Service website, I'm sure, and find some information on that. And you can go to the state websites and federal websites to find out what are some of the new requirements to get reinstated going forward and to maintain your benefits. So they have changed some of those guidelines, which will make it tougher. And I think they have increased the work requirements to receive benefits. I'm not sure 100%. I'll try to get that information to you. I try to get a guest that's more versed in the whole program in here in the near future. And look forward to talking with you again and having a great guest next week. I'm working on it as we speak. All right, normally we have Rashawn Trust in Ed, but he has another obligation this month. He'll be back in December, the 3rd Thursday. So I'm going to try to get his uncle and or aunt in here next week. Great community activists from the Austin area and throughout various city campaign. The uncle actually was a board member for the Chicago Public Schools at one point. Great guy and outstanding. And he helped create After Schools Matters. So this family's done great work in the city of Chicago for all our children and our people. And thank you all. It's been a wonderful evening. Peace out. Love and joy in everything you do.